You ever been driving down the highway, you look over and you see one of those brand new, top of the line pickup trucks, and you just have that thought, how? I mean, how on earth are so many people affording these things? These vehicles can cost more than a down payment on a house. Well, it feels like this huge modern mystery, but today we're going to crack it wide open.
Yeah, that's the question, right? It doesn't seem to add up. But here's the secret. The answer isn't that everybody around you suddenly struck it rich. Nope. The answer is a system, a trap, really, that's perfectly designed to make the unaffordable seem totally possible. So let's break down exactly how it works.
So let's just start with a number that'll kind of blow your mind. The average new car payment in America has rocketed past $700 a month. And let me be really clear here. That's not for some fancy Italian sports car. That is the average for a regular, everyday new vehicle. For the popular trucks and SUVs we see everywhere, that number easily jumps over 900, sometimes even 1,200 bucks every single month. And this is what makes it all so wild. The people signing up for these massive loans, they're not billionaires or crypto gurus. They're normal folks with normal jobs. They're teachers, they're nurses, they're mechanics, your neighbors. So how in the world are they making these numbers work? Or are they? Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of the matter. These financial tools that create what I like to call the illusion of affordability. This is where all the magic happens. Or, maybe it's more of a magic trick. So check this out. This is the number one weapon they use to make it all work. The loan term. You take a $60,000 truck on a normal 4-year loan, that's a whopping $1,500 a month. Ouch. But what if we stretch that same exact loan out to 8 years? Suddenly the payment drops to a much more manageable 900 bucks. The buyer sees that lower monthly payment and thinks, I can do that. What they miss, though, is that they'll end up paying an extra $14,000 in interest. It's a brutal trade-off. And these super long loans lead directly to this financial nightmare called negative equity. You see, cars lose value so fast. An 8-year loan pretty much guarantees that for years you'll be underwater. So you might owe, say, $30,000 on your truck, but it's only worth $22,000. You're completely stuck. You can't sell it, you can't trade it in without writing a huge check. You are financially trapped by your own vehicle. And this is how you get stuck on what I call the negative equity hamster wheel. So you get tired of your car after a few years, but you're thousands of dollars underwater. So what does the dealership do? No problem. They just take that old debt and roll it right into the loan for your next, even more expensive car. Your loan balance just gets bigger and bigger, and the cycle just keeps repeating. You've become a customer for life, whether you want to be or not. Okay, but what about those 0% financing deals? They're everywhere, right? It sounds like you're getting free money, but you're not. To get that amazing rate, you almost always have to give up thousands of dollars in rebates and discounts. So really, they're just baking the cost into the car's price. It's just a slick marketing tool, not some generous gift from the dealership. So we've talked about the how, the financial tricks, but that's only half the story. To really get it, we have to look at the why. I mean, why do smart people walk straight into these obvious financial traps? Well, it all comes down to psychology. This quote right here, it just nails it. The car industry has absolutely perfected the art of selling something way more powerful than just transportation. They don't sell you a car. They sell you an image, a feeling, a dream of the person you could become if you just had this vehicle. Think about it. Through decades of really clever marketing, we've all been taught to believe our car is a direct reflection of us, our success, our toughness, our personality. That truck isn't just a way to get to work. It's a statement that you're a hardworking, successful person. And when you think you're buying a piece of your identity, suddenly that $900 payment feels less like a bill and more like an investment in yourself. And this leads to this wild phenomenon. You could call it automotive Stockholm syndrome. It's where people become emotionally attached to their financial captor, their car payment. They'll defend that massive payment with everything they have because if you suggest they drive something cheaper, they don't hear it as financial advice. They hear it as a personal attack on who they are. All right, now for the part they never, ever want you to see in the dealership's little finance office. We're about to pull back the curtain and calculate the true all-in cost of driving one of these expensive vehicles. And trust me, the numbers are absolutely staggering. Okay, let's just take a typical $55,000 truck on a 7-year loan. The loan payments alone are going to cost you $67,000, but we're just getting started. Add insurance, that's another 21 grand. Fuel for that big engine, almost $30,000. And then you've got maintenance, new tires, inevitable repairs, That's easily another $15,000. See how fast this is adding up? So what's the grand total? Are you ready for this? To drive that one truck for just 7 years, the owner will spend over $132,000. I'm going to say that again, $132,000. Let that sink in for a second. That's the real cost. And here's the real kicker. After spending all that money, 132 grand, what do you actually have to show for it? You're left with an asset, a 7-year-old truck that's now worth maybe $15,000. You've literally spent a fortune for the privilege of owning a rapidly rusting piece of metal. And this right here, this is the most important idea in this entire explainer. Look at the two paths. On one side, you have wealth destruction. You spend all that money and you end up with a net loss of over $100,000. Gone. On the other side, if you had just invested that same monthly payment, you would have created a growing asset worth over $70,000. This one choice is literally the difference between building a future for yourself and just financing a fantasy.
So, how do you avoid all this? How do you break the cycle? Well, the very first step is just recognizing the trap for what it is. Just understanding the mechanics and the psychology behind it, that is the most powerful tool you have to protect yourself. So here's the bottom line. This doesn't happen by accident. People aren't actually affording these vehicles. They are surviving them. They're just caught in this perfectly orchestrated system of long loans, emotional marketing, and financial gymnastics that does nothing but kick the can further and further down the road.
And that leaves us with one final big question you have to ask yourself. A car should be a tool, right? A tool that serves your life, that helps you get from point A to point B. But when you find yourself working a second job just to make the truck payment, or you're putting off vacations because of your car, you have to stop and ask, has the whole thing flipped? Is your life now just a tool to serve your car?